Good morning, everybody. This is Chris Robinson, Robinson Ag Marketing, with today's pre-opening grain and livestock comments for Tuesday, the 6th day of January. We are 6 days away, calendar days away from the USDA. Will the USDA give us something good or bad? I do not know. If I'm a producer, I want to have the cheapest downside protection I can because you don't want to get whacked here on a stupid number. If I'm an end user, we've had a pretty good pullback here in a lot of these contracts, wheat especially, corn. We had a little dip. Soybeans, we dipped here over $1 after making 18-month highs. So if I'm an end user, if I use meal, we had a pretty big correction, pretty big pullback. So setting a hedge is not calling a bottom. Setting a hedge is not like one of those comic book ads where we say, "Hey, you give me $100, I'll turn it into $1,000,000." Setting a hedge is making a business decision. So if 6 months from now, if meals are sharply higher, if 6 months from now corn or beans are sharply higher, if that would hurt you, then you need to have call options on. That's a hedge. If you're a producer, we don't want to be in a situation where like we just had in soybeans, where we had $1.50 rally, and especially in new crop beans, that we went from 10.25 beans to like 11, what was it, 11.31. So we had this beautiful rally, and now we're sitting here after dipping down to the 10.60 area. We're back to 10.75. So you don't want to get caught out of place. So you're certainly welcome to do nothing. You can certainly do probably what your grandfather did and your father did, which is don't sell it until it's in the bin. That's fine. Uh, I think long term, you end up missing opportunities. Last year, in fact, the last 2 years, we had our highs in February. That was insane. We haven't had a couple years where we did at least get one weather rally during the year. I think a lot of people thought, oh, we'll get our weather rally. I'll get some marketing done then. So hopefully we get that type of market this year. Hopefully we get a turnaround in these prices. Hopefully we get, D's corn, which is now sitting at 462. I think a lot of people will feel a lot better if D's corn was above $5. But what you don't want to do is sit here and watch 460 corn turn into 420 corn. Novi beans, they're at 1075 right now. You don't want to see us, take out, 1020 or $10 again, especially when we had a chance to do something at $11. So defend what you can, keep the upside open. That's all I have to say about that. Overnight, we did have a 3 cent range in corn. We had a pretty decent range in beans, 7 cents. Beans are on a recovery path. China bought some beans yesterday, but again, a lot of that stuff is not surprising. Why wouldn't China step in and buy beans after we had a dollar plus break? Um, so we'll see. We need a lot more Chinese buying. The number one thing that we're going to be looking at next year is China actually going to come back and buy 25 million metric tons, which is what they've done for the past decade or so. That's a billion bushels. It's just a math problem. We grow 4 billion bushels. Historically, they've taken 25%. Is that going to get back to normal? We'll have to wait and see. We'll all find out together. But again, we know for a fact that on the 12th, USDA is going to do a data dump. It's going to be the entire production. We're going to find out exactly what the yield was. We're going to find out exactly how many acres were harvested. We're going to find out exactly how many bushels were produced. And of course, then people are going to argue and scream and huff and puff if it's bearish. Um, what's the point of doing that, right? I hope for the best, plan for the worst. So that's my advice every time one of these reports come out. If you're in business, and if you don't have a marketing budget, yeah, then you're just going to have to take what the market gives you. If you do have a marketing budget, then this is probably a good report to do something to hedge in front of it. On the 13th, the day after this report's, it'll be too late to have done anything. And no, I don't have a crystal ball. No, I don't know exactly what prices are going to be. Don't DM me or send me emails telling me that. I've been doing this for 32 years. I'm well aware of, you know, the pitfalls of getting too bullish or too bearish. What I try and do is keep everybody balanced, try and defend what the market gives us, and especially for producers, just defend until we're ready to make cash sales. All right, we'll see what happens today in the protein complex as well. Another move higher yesterday in the fat cattle and feeder cattle. It's just been a tremendous recovery. You look at feeder cattle. If I told you back on the lows when we were down at sub $3 and we were trading 293, if I told you, oh, don't worry, we're going to be back to 360 in no time, I think you would punch me in the face. But here we are at 355, just a tremendous, $60 plus rally. And again, and it's a perfect case study for if you're a producer and if you hedge while using a put option is a better decision from a business standpoint than setting futures with hedges. Because if you happen, just say, we went down to $3 and you're like, oh, it gets to 310, I'm gonna sell futures. Okay, you sold futures at 310 because you were worried about 290, and now we're at 355. So you've locked in 310, you've left 45 bucks on the table, and you've made margin calls. I would have much rather seen you spend 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 cents on a 310 put to stop the bleeding on paper. And then, okay, we've rallied $45 from that. So you've lost the 4 or 5 cents that you paid for the put, but you picked up the 40 in the cash market. That is what you want from a business standpoint. From a trading standpoint, yeah, it doesn't make any sense, right? A trader out there, you never want to lose money on a trade. So why would you put on a put that you hope goes worthless? So I think when I work with producers, that's the number one thing I try and work with them and say, look, you're not George Soros. You are not Paul Tudor Jones. You are always bet long. And so we need to use strategies that defend revenue when we have good bounces, but also leave your upside open. And that's why using a long option strategy is generally everybody's best bet out there. 95% of you, I think, would be better served with that type of marketing plan. So if you want to talk about that, give me a call 312-638-8868. Chris Robinson. Again, a nice bounce in the beans overnight. We'll see if we can get back up in the 70s. If you're looking for help, if you want to take a look at my letter, call me, email me. I'll send you a few freebies. If you want to sign up for it, you can go to my website, Robinson Ag Marketing, www.robinsonagmarketing.com. Take a look at the letter. You can do it month to month. You can do a whole year. Um, and again, I'm available to talk anytime. Give me a call, 312-638-8868. Have a great day.